then I think it's time for IShowSpeed to either grow up or get out of the way.
That was my take on IShowSpeed back in 2022, and I stand by it. Because when starting his career, Speed had developed a reputation for getting views by pulling stunts that put lives at risk, like setting off fireworks inside of his home.
Oh my God, it's a fire! No, it's not!
More than once. Not to mention countless clips of him saying shocking or offensive things for views, usually without even an attempt at a punchline.
Is a bitch talking to me? Is a female talking to me? Get off the fucking game and do your husband dishes. Who gonna stop me?
I will.
If we the last two people on earth, who gonna stop me?
Gee,
You're not stopping me!
And supporting a crypto scam or two.
What started as a live stream to meet Cristiano Ronaldo quickly turned into a nightmare after fans realized the meetup was fake and was being used to promote a scam.
Why you promote that, bro? I didn't know. How many times do I have to tell you? I didn't know!
So yeah, in 2022, Speed had to either grow up or get out of the way for creators that could achieve his success without leaving such harm in their wake. And he might have done exactly that, grown up. Because fast forward to today, and he's mainly getting headlines by learning about and embracing other cultures.
They put the red okra all on me. That's a big, huge role in their tribe, is the red okra.
I learned the Amish ways.
Yeah.
Who doesn't follow the society ways.
Exactly.
It was great.
It's very cool to see the similarities in the Africa culture and the Caribbean culture. You made this?
Yeah.
Oh, you made it?
Yeah.
Man. Okay.
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 Showcasing his love for soccer.
One of the biggest soccer fans in the world, happens to have over 120 million followers.
Having a pretty promising music career.
The World Cup, they have made my song officially a part of it. We made it to the album, chat.
And pulling dangerous and over-the-top stunts towards himself instead of unsuspecting victims.
I'm about to do a backflip off the hand of God. If I fall, it's over with.
Oh, almost in my head.
We'll be jumping over 2 cars live on stream.
So these days, his reputation is actually one of the better ones for creators at his level. So much so that New York's mayor Zoran Mamdani, who is famously very intentional when it comes to his image, was fully prepared for an impromptu photo op with Speed.
You the mayor? Nice to meet you, mayor.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I've been listening to your World Cup song from 2022 every morning.
I mean, it's the kind of redemption we've seen plenty of creators spend years pursuing, only to fall before the finish line. So what exactly is it that put Speed in such a unique position for this restoration, and does he have the legs to keep this? Well, okay, he has the legs for almost anything. So let's instead ask if he has the judgment to keep his momentum on the straight and narrow, as well as how he can ultimately avoid having to watch his redemption unravel like Logan Paul and countless others. You see, Speed had been consistently streaming since he was just 12 years old in 2017, but that effort bore little fruit until 2021, when highlights of his streams started blowing up on TikTok.
Get on the ground. Shut up! Get your mama on the ass and eat this duty booty. What did I just say, bro?
And across the board, the timing of this was perfect for Speed, as streaming was experiencing a large surge in viewership due to lockdowns, not to mention the rise of short-form content, as Speed's high-energy, explosive persona was perfect to adapt into 1-minute clips that would spread like wildfire.
I'm gay! I'm gay! I'm gay!
Okay, give my ice cream, man.
Bro, give me the...
This time for
But this came at a cost, as Speed quickly developed a habit of consistently going viral for the wrong reasons, and burning more and more bridges as a result, like when he joined Aiden Ross's live dating show despite Speed being only 16, because, well, it went poorly.
Say if we the last 2 people on Earth and we had to reproduce to make the world continue.
No!
Reproduce with me?
No, because
Who gonna stop me?
I will.
If we the last 2 people on Earth, who gonna stop me?
Gee,
You're not stopping me!
Obvious issues with that clip aside, it was only made worse by the timing, since 2021 still saw the pendulum towards the left in American society, and conversations surrounding the Me Too movement and consent were still fresh in people's minds. This attempt at a joke just did not land, leading to him being permanently banned from Twitch. Well, kind of, I'll get to it. Then, just months later, you have Speed going viral for this clip.
Get off the game and do your husband dishes!
Which led to his being banned from Valorant alongside all other Riot game titles. And 2022 continued with the bad headlines of almost causing himself and his mother to lose their lives.
No, it's not! Yes, it is!
And helping a pair of people that you might consider scammers promote a crypto coin.
You sold out. They're using you, Speed. This is just sad.
That is crazy, bro.
It's crazy when people think of me as a sellout, as I literally sell out. Advertising 10x to 100x, is that a get-rich-quick scheme? Yes or no?
No.
At the time, authoritative voices in the crypto world identified this as a pump and dump scheme.
A pump and dump is where you artificially raise the price of a stock or now a cryptocurrency artificially. There's no reason it's raised other than you're investing a bunch of money, hoping that other people get in on it and sell off to you at those insane new prices.
And ending the year was this less than wholesome interaction with a Chinese fan at the FIFA World Cup.
Come back. Why you got on Argentina, bro? Konnichiwa? No, Chinese. Konnichiwa, Argentina. Chinese, no konnichiwa.
Which also had bad timing given the then recent rise of anti-Asian hate in the wake of the pandemic. While Speed was just 17 at the time, he was still operating one of the largest platforms on Earth. It led to a question of how far age can be used as an excuse if the content is capable of committing such harm. But alright, what could really be the harm of this? Well, for starters, members of protected groups have expressed that when this kind of language is normalized for content, it can embolden others to use such words unironically.
Oh, yeah, get that. Yeah.
Which is also backed by various studies in psychology. Even more, the groups that Speed offended were facing discrimination that was incredibly relevant in that news cycle, which often makes people more reactive. And while there is plenty to be said about Speed's role in these events, because he obviously made his choices, I think it's also worth noting what was working against him. The factors that made him keeping his nose clean far more difficult. I mean, we have countless examples both on and offline that suggest that achieving such rapid stardom, especially at such a young age, can be very damaging for that individual. Not just because of the pressure that comes with both, but just how unprepared most people are to deal with the issues of fame and scrutiny. I mean, Speed was basically a child star, only instead of the mouse managing his image, he was largely alone. And that rapid stardom from TikTok also backfired, as yes, it helped him surge from 100,000 to 1 million subscribers in 2 months when he was just 16 years old. And it's important to note why the type of persona he formed as a streamer and creator ensured both his successes and stumbles. But first, I gotta thank today's sponsor, Hungry Root. Look, trying to consistently stick to a healthy diet while working long hours can be incredibly tough, and I find myself spending way too much time figuring out what to eat every single week. And standard grocery delivery doesn't really solve that either because I'm still stuck planning all of the meals myself, and that's where Hungry Root comes in. It essentially handles all of your weekly grocery shopping by planning and recommending everything based entirely on your specific tastes and preferences. In my case, they perfectly cater to my strict preference to exclude ingredients like onions and peppers. It makes it simple to eat healthy without overthinking it because they screen out over 200 additives like high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives, meaning there's no junk in any of their food. They source only high quality ingredients with meats that have no hormones or antibiotics and organic produce. Lately, I've been really enjoying their quick chef-crafted recipes that come together in 15 minutes or less, like the classic cheeseburger with dill pickles, but my absolute favorite has to be the pesto cheese ravioli with bruschetta chicken. It's been great trying flavor profiles I wouldn't normally think to assemble myself, all delivered right to my door. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first order, plus get a free item in every box for life. Click the link below or go to hungryroot.com and use code Jimmy Robbins. Thanks to Hungry Root for helping keep the lights on. Now back to the video. Because often, creators will form a brand that centers around their most prominent personality traits.
My wife.
Or at the very least, the one that they want you to think is their most prominent.
I cheated on my wife.
Like the sincere friend or relatably anxious. Oh, and who could forget those annoying Poindexter types who overly analyze every little thing? Wait, why didn't it cut to an example of that? But a risky version of this comes with the broad category of being an enthusiast, where you're defined by being really excited and over the top with the big infectious energy that drives your content.
Cue the dance break.
I would say that Speed easily fits that category, but it's risky because creators are often required to continuously raise the bar and top themselves. Wait. They have to find new ways to keep their persona fresh and relevant as their platform's culture changes and preferences shift. Now, most creators can achieve this by experimenting with new formats of videos, like transitioning from unscripted commentary to video essays or documentaries. But for an enthusiast, it can be a bit harder to adapt since raising the bar, how are they supposed to do that? And even if they do, how do they prevent that persona from growing stale or boring? Well, there are two ways that an enthusiast will generally try to get around these problems. First, they can focus on being placed in novel situations by introducing outside variables, like including a one-of-a-kind activity or an ensemble cast with strong but contrasting personalities can give the enthusiast a place to channel their energy, which we've seen pay off for some like Keith Happersberger or Mr. Beast.
So dumb, I hate this.
Eugene is going to sit in my lap.
You guys get the point. By pressing that, you could win this $100,000 here for your sister, or you could get punished. I don't care.
But that comes with limitations because once you're part of an ensemble, it can be harder for people to later accept you as a solo act. Not to mention that it can be a pretty different skill set that you haven't practiced and you don't have the chance to, since people's expectations are likely going to be based on your peak rather than resetting them for a new chapter. And trust me, this can come with interesting results.
And then I cheated on my wife. Turns out that was the one thing I really shouldn't have tried new.
Alright, last Ned joke, I promise. Probably. So to avoid having to rely on other people or huge productions, enthusiast creators can instead just keep raising the bar with pure excitement, whether it's extravagant purchases or increasingly dangerous or harmful stunts. Without care, it just turns you into a nuisance that's hated by anyone not actively in your audience.
Japan is all about the respect.
Like Logan Paul or, at this time, Speed. I mean, hell, even for enthusiasts who do leverage more structured content to balance them out, it is still real easy to take things too far.
And that breaks my heart knowing that I was doing all this stuff and I was making all this content while there was people that were still really hurt by what I made.
And Speed was at an even greater disadvantage due to him live streaming with the goal of being posted onto TikTok. Because historically, streaming alone comes with virtually no natural discoverability compared to posting videos. So with TikTok's rise, that became the definitive way to get your stream off of the ground.
It's about short form, clips. You can't just spark up on stream every day on Twitch and get viewers. That's just not how it is,
So much so that streamers at every level started to do what's called clip farming, where instead of prioritizing the quality of their overall stream, they're forced to constantly think in 60-second sound bites that could go viral.
So when you start a stream, you have one goal, and it's to farm at least 50 clips.
So the streamer winds up in a constant competition with themselves from just a few minutes ago.
When you have these viral clips on TikTok, it needs to match your actual stream. Yes. It can't just be a moment. Because if you don't put on the same energy as you had in the clips, we're gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna watch.
But because they're live, they lack the time to weigh the pros and cons of committing to that moment.
What did I just say, bro?
Speed was among the first to navigate this culture at an age where the chance for stardom likely made ethical or even strategic concerns an afterthought at times. And to tell you the truth, I don't think Speed's judgment benefited from having Aiden Ross in his ear as a close friend, because Aiden was a bigger, older streamer that took Speed under his wing. But I wouldn't exactly call Aiden Ross an ideal role model or mentor.
So all you guys that get to pick your pronouns, my pronouns is kill/them.
I already told you guys, don't buy that. I got paid a bag to do that shit.
Can guys get ripped?
Yes.
Guys can get ripped.
Yes.
And there were also signs of Speed dealing with an at least somewhat unstable home life.
It might seem crazy, but I got kicked out, man.
I'm doing something right now, man.
I need change.
You need what?
Change.
What? Like some money?
Yes.
Which got a fair number of people who dislike Speed to at least form some sympathy for him that would come in handy for his later redemption. And again, I am not looking to make excuses for or to justify his genuine screw-ups. I came down on him hard at the time and largely stand by my criticisms given the impact of his actions. But if we're going to talk about the factors that contributed to this redemption, I think there's value in doing the same for his controversies. But after receiving such scorn in the public eye, Speed mainly kept a lower profile in 2023, mostly staying clear of controversy. But that year still marked a new high point for his career, as he was able to meet his personal hero in Cristiano Ronaldo after a year-long campaign.
I love you, bro. I'm a big fan, bro. Ronaldo, look. I got you right here.
Which was great PR, as it showed Speed being excited about something far more earnest than just screaming. It was a moment that you couldn't help but find endearing.
I love you, bro. I love you so much. Thank you, bro.
Only problem is, 2023 also brought Speed to a new low that I think might have changed everything. As during a live stream, one of his over-the-top reactions caused him to accidentally expose himself to his audience.
Oh my God.
You look awful.
Oh my God.
Many of whom were teens, if not children. So unlike past controversies where people were either angry at or laughing with Speed, this turned him into a complete joke online.
More like I show meat, am I right?
I show meat. What else you show?
What'd you just call me, bro?
I show slow.
No, the second one.
Meat.
And the humiliation he faced clearly weighed on Speed for a while.
This ain't funny, bro! It's not funny, bro! I swear to God, I'm lying, bro! Strike me down right now! This is not funny, bro!
Diego,
it's not!
You guys don't know the feeling, bro, what I'm feeling right now, you know?
And I think this makes sense. It was the first major controversy that he couldn't try to rationalize as an overreaction or just apologize for. So if you look at Speed's career up until 2024, it's hard to deny that the crazy, mindless enthusiasm he brought only seemed to cause these moments of humiliation and criticism. Well, except for when he was leaning into an actual passion of his. That's what led to the high point of his career, right? You see, I think that meeting Ronaldo might have done just as much to cause Speed's pivot, because Speed was, to a lesser extent, also known for his love of athletics, especially soccer. He's actually very passionate about and talented in both.
I was very impressed with his natural ability and his natural balance and body awareness, because a lot of that comes with training for years.
Oh my. 40. Like, that's like the 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%. That's very impressive.
And going into 2024, Speed was large enough that that mindless growth no longer had to be his main focus. Not to mention that his Twitch ban was lifted thanks to him avoiding the kinds of controversies that plagued his early career. So that left Speed with a chance to just quietly fade out and focus on not making waves. But that's not really exciting, is it? Especially when honing his enthusiasm towards something specific bore such fruit. So why not just model all of his future content around that success? Find things that he's passionate or curious about and direct that enthusiasm towards sharing it with the world. Become a professional hype man instead of a rodeo clown. But soccer in the US only really has relevance when the World Cup comes around, so where else could Speed focus this energy?
Over the past 2 years, I traveled to over 50 different countries, trying to achieve something that no streamer has ever done. I'm trying to visit every single country on the planet Earth.
Why not lean into the very inexperience that got him into trouble? He was entering adulthood at this time and had only seen so much from streaming in his room. So Speed started traveling the world while bringing his viewers along, which, yeah, sounds a bit risky, right? If Speed was struggling with a lack of control, is it really a great idea to go out into the world with all these new variables? Especially given the terrible precedent of when enthusiast creators use foreign lands to inspire content.
So I gotta take my charge levels and bring them down. How far can we take this?
Just think back to Logan Paul making a mockery of countless aspects of Japanese culture.
Oh gang, Japan is all about the respect.
Not to mention humanity itself.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
All because Logan was solely focused on one-upping himself and pulling stunts so over the top that you couldn't look away. And that was with edited YouTube videos, while Speed was going to be live. But Speed didn't treat these places as his playground, but almost as his classroom.
Every country we go to, we have everything packed. We got a whole list. We got a whole diagram. We're talking about everything. Eating exotic foods, hanging with pro athletes, test driving flying cars, and even becoming a mayor.
This is my friend Porky!
But regardless, the goal is always the same. I want to embrace the local culture, you know? If I'm going to Poland, I want to be Polish for a day. The whole point is to experience something new in all of these countries.
Yeah, Speed was turning his content into almost a form of edutainment, as he was trying to learn alongside his audience. So suddenly, the threads with thousands of upvotes or likes were about Speed earnestly experiencing these different cultures and religions.
Okay, 冷静
yeah
我说
yeah
我说中文
oh yeah
请问说我的直播加油加油我的直播加油加油
加油加油加油中国加油葡萄牙加油
All thanks to ensuring that his enthusiasm was aimed towards learning instead of just content. And as I alluded to, Speed is famously very athletic.
The fastest man on Earth.
I never met Noah.
And you're about to go head to head.
Yes, I am.
So if you combine that with his all-in approach, it gave even more options. Yeah, in the blink of an eye, he went from being seen as some ignorant misfit to studying with Shaolin monks and being named an honorary mayor.
So I'm about to sign to be the new mayor. Chat, should I sign it, y'all?
Put some words on your card.
Wait, so I'm the mayor?
You're the mayor, yeah.
This is my signature.
I'm the mayor. I am now the mayor of Peru.
And I think this was brilliant given his largely American audience, as Americans often struggle to learn about cultures not in their vicinity, partially because America itself features a comparable diversity of cultures, subcultures, and environments to other continents. Not to mention that foreign cultures are often either adapted to appeal to Americans or remain in close-knit communities centered around ethnicity. So being excited to showcase something completely new to his audience gave Speed the perfect balance of enthusiasm with novelty. And his full embrace of these cultures, rather than just having them as a backdrop, ensured that he stayed on the right side of this path. And his athleticism would take him even further, because anytime soccer becomes relevant online, Speed's usually a part of it. Whether his performance in charity matches was going viral, or he was touring across Europe to provide coverage of Ronaldo's team playing in the UEFA Euro.
But I'm here until Ronaldo for the Euros. I'm here for the Euros.
You think he will win the
Yes, he will.
Speed quickly became well known for his contributions to soccer media, so much so that he ended 2024 being crowned the most influential soccer creator by the Gold Champion Award, one of the UK's largest sports publications. And if you fast forward to the 2026 World Cup, Speed's anthem is one of the official tracks for the tournament, being played in arenas.
The World Cup, they have made my song officially a part of it. We made it to the album, chat!
And FIFA's president actually made an appearance in Speed's promo video.
What are your plans for the World Cup?
I guess you have to wait and see.
While Speed also received the first ever FIFA World Cup fan ID while being given the credentials to livestream at the games as an official FIFA affiliate. So Speed went from being blacklisted by more and more institutions to those same ones coming around to see how much he had to offer them. And when soccer isn't in the news cycle, well, Speed has a lot more he can do, like racing some of the most famously quick runners both on and offline, showcasing Speed not just as an athlete, but one promoting good sportsmanship.
You know what happens to a Super Saiyan after they lose? They come back 10 times stronger. You should practice with me, and then at the end of the week, we'll race again.
Okay.
That sounds good, right?
Fair, okay. You slip?
I think I did a little, but I don't want to.
You want? Hey, we can do it again if you slip.
We'll try.
You want to race again?
One more time. I don't want to make any excuses.
He slipped? Okay, all right, bet. We're going to do one more. We're going to do one more.
He also wound up having a pretty strong showing as a guest in a WWE match. But throughout all of this, we're still talking about Speed, so yeah, he's also been pulling some pretty dangerous stunts.
If I fall, it's over with. We'll be jumping over 2 cars live on stream.
Yeah, that last one led to a 2-week suspension from YouTube, which, yeah, shows that while Speed is on the right track, I think there's still room for improvement. Because these types of stunts, the way he's going about them is pretty irresponsible, at least in my opinion. A lot of these happen live, and if they go wrong, that is going to be incredibly traumatic for his audience. And yeah, a relatable streamer doing these stunts could easily invite copycats who underestimate the sheer difficulty of these feats. People tend to feel more connected to influencers given how much more personal and grounded their content is compared to other celebrities, hence the whole parasocial issue being far worse online for the most part. But I don't think that this issue undoes my thesis, not at all, because, well, before, he was subjecting random, unsuspecting people, often parts of protected classes, to mistreatment and humiliation without their knowledge or consent. I do think it's at the very least a step in the right direction in terms of maturity that he's either shouldering these risks himself or with consenting personalities. To be clear, I really would like to see the more dangerous moments continue becoming more rare, but you gotta admit, it's better than almost burning himself and his mother alive. At the very least, he seems to be demonstrating a greater understanding for the risks that come with his platform and content. That being said, I think the Daredevil stunts could work if done right, like streaming himself training with experts in preparation and having practice runs before doing the stunts in a controlled environment, like with Corridor Crew.
So you think you're gonna learn
how to fall.
MatPat's Game Lab.
We're here at the Tempest Free Running Academy in Chatsworth, California to learn a little bit more about parkour so we can explore the world of Mirror's Edge.
Or hell, even Speed's own series where he trains with professional athletes in their sport. Because Speed clearly has enough athletic ability and desire for adrenaline that he's not going to stop thrill-seeking anytime soon, but I really don't want to see him turned into paste while the world watches. So by 2026, Speed managed to change his image from being radioactive to brands to actively being sought out by legitimate institutions and public figures with whole PR teams. And it's all because simply honing the focus for his content allowed Speed's likable traits to stand out in a way that's relatable rather than acting as a living monument to people's grievances with the age of the influencer. And I've mentioned Logan Paul a few times throughout this video because the parallels feel really close. skills, so much so that it helps with understanding why Speed's success here is impressive enough to warrant a video. Because without going into excessive detail, cause, well, I've done that before, Logan and Speed have a lot in common, as Logan also came up at a very young age with a similarly enthusiastic magnetic persona.
1 year of vlogging every single day, bro. What have I done with my life? What am I doing with my life, Brandon?
Which escalated into recklessness and harmful stunts that caused a clear rock bottom to be hit.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
So Logan tried to pick up the pieces with his podcast, which would showcase him as having a much calmer, more likable demeanor.
Why don't you ever hit us up? He hit me instead. I literally hit him up. Hit me.
Not to mention allow for passionate moments that spoke highly towards his character.
And I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Before long, Logan's podcast effectively rehabilitated his image enough to be seen as a good-natured, mindful, down-to-earth guy who just got caught up in the rat race of the YouTube grind. But there was a huge problem with that image. That's not who Logan is. From what we can see, yeah, he just seems like a larger-than-life, over-the-top personality. And I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing. Clearly tons of people make that work. But trying to force this unnatural persona meant that once push came to shove, Logan was going to revert back to who he really is, only now without any practice in how to properly and ethically use his strengths. So after he was exposed for spearheading a crypto scam,
it's a really fun game that makes you money.
How much did you guys make from Crypto Zoo?
I lost $25,000.
$120,000. $500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in Crypto Zoo.
He desperately tried to repair his image, and when that didn't work, he moved to bury the story altogether.
Logan Paul is suing me for Crypto Zoo, only a year after he thanked me for it. Rather than pay back his victims fully, Logan would rather publicly humiliate himself in court by accusing me of defaming him.
When that also didn't work, Logan's image went right back to where it was at its lowest, so much so that he eventually just reverted back to that misfit villain persona.
I literally make a living off of people not liking me, and I have to be honest with you, it's fantastic.
And notice how one of the most important moments in making Logan seem likable was him doing the same thing as Speed, honing his enthusiasm towards something positive, like when discussing the BLM movement. And the other problem with Logan's strategy is that he was far less mindful than Speed. Like, both of them offended people by visiting and disrespecting a foreign culture. Fast forward to today, and Logan just dances around it while hoping it doesn't come up.
You know, I just came back from Japan last week.
Great place.
Like,
Must be nice.
It was really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys had fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
We've been hoping to go there. For some
you guys
reason, we
haven't been
have.
to Japan? Well, you've never been? There's a great.
I have prior obligations.
While Speed decided to lean into that content more with greater intention, turning it into a win.
Hey, they built different in China, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all built different.
请问说我的直播加油加油我的直播加油加油
加油加油加油中国加油朋友加油
Having an actual plan of what experiences he's going to share with his audience makes it so Speed doesn't have to fill runtime by just sucking.
Come on me, dumb American, pants coming down.
Respect.
And fast forward to today, Speed seems more willing to be authentic with things that might be controversial.
And free them boys in the chat. What? Free what's funny?
I don't know what's funny.
Don't be laughing at
Wait, can I say it too?
Yeah, you can say it.
Are you sure?
Yes, free
What is it? All right, free.
It's free bro. That's not a joke.
It's not?
No. Come on now.
While Logan, man, remember that clip of him talking about social issues? Well, nowadays, look at how he addresses them.
I don't want to come across like a woke hole, but like, dude, women have it hard. Women have it hard.
Mind you, that was for the very obvious observation that there are, in fact, some disadvantages to being a woman in this society. Yet Logan now has to commit so much to the villain role, not helped by his WWE persona, that he can't even be sincere about things that have historically showed him as a somewhat okay dude. Also, Speed staying away from crypto Yeah, that's a good call that he should stick with, because him stopping after just one crypto controversy from years ago makes it a lot easier to form the narrative that his past misdeeds stemmed from naivety or being taken advantage of. And I think the iShowMeet incident really did help with this deviation. Logan hurt others with his platform, meaning his comeback had the chance to be purely motivated by PR and optics. But since Speed himself was a victim, kind of, he saw firsthand the effect and had to actually reconcile with his behavior. So he was likely motivated by improving his content in its totality instead of just the parts that spark outrage threads on Reddit. All this is to say that Speed found himself falling for the same trap as the enthusiast creators that came before, but having to experience firsthand both extremes of what his platform can accomplish likely put him on a more sustainable road to redemption than most others can manage. Either way, Speed now finds himself as a cornerstone of online entertainment, with all kinds of public figures, including other creators amidst controversy, lining up to get the photo op and good PR that Speed now provides.
Are you voting for me? Huh? Are you voting for me? Voting for you. August 18th, running for governor. August 18th? Yeah. You are?
It's a good bit of evidence to show that when creators cite the grind or algorithms as forcing their unethical behavior, there's almost always a more creative and ethical workaround. And the same can be said for the phony comebacks we've grown used to. Though at least we'll never have to worry about my bad comeback happening in the future. Not because I'm a saint or a genius at comebacks, but you can't have a comeback when no one knows who you are, so pays to stay in your lane sometimes.